Hey there, it's Krystal Diaz here. One of the most challenging things to overcome when it comes to singing is really overcoming the self-judgment that we have about our own voices, the negative thoughts that we have when it comes to listening to our voice, the way that we sound. I have a student inside my Singers Connect membership program, and she asked me a question during class, which was, should I join a singing competition? And this is the same student who also was very keen for me to give her marks every time she had a session with me, or every time she came for coaching. She would ask me, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, where am I at? And I was very resistant to this. And it wasn't until later that I kind of thought, okay, well, where is she coming from? Where is this student coming from? Why does she want to have these marking schemes or this system? And why does she want to, go for a singing contest? And so during one of our calls, I asked her right out, and we had this great conversation that I want to share with you all here today. This is great for somebody who has been contemplating whether or not they should join a singing contest, or even for anybody who has had any kind of self-doubt when it comes to their own voices and their ability to sing. I think the better question might be, what would joining the competition mean for you? Do you know what I mean? Like what? Because there's many people that, and people who learn to sing, right? We learn to sing because you have those reasons for you enjoy it, is something that you enjoy. Some people like to join competitions, right? But I always question, what does that do for them? A competition can actually really destroy you. It can. I've seen that happen. I've seen many people who have, because I've taught a lot of different kinds of people, and where they join competitions and it completely destroyed them, in terms of their confidence, in terms of everything. So if you're going into a competition with the mindset of like, this competition is going to validate where I am at. You could sing like Celine Dion. And if you tell me, hey, should I go into the competition? And I ask you the same question, like, is going to the competition, are you going it with a mindset of like, I want to be able to know, I want that external validation that I'm, good enough to do this. If you're looking at it in that way, I would not recommend it. I can tell you though, just based on my experience of you and your voice, I notice that you tend to want to have standards. Like, you tend to want me to give you standards of like, how many marks, right? Like, and where am I on my scale of like good singing, right? The thing is, there is no scale. I know that's like really hard for some people to kind of accept, but the minute you accept that, that's actually when you can improve faster. And it's like, it's counterintuitive, because if you're listening to your recordings and all you're hearing is like your standards, like subconscious standards of where you are, right? What you're doing is you're looking at like how much gap it is. That's very discouraging. And all that's going to do is going to make you try harder. And by trying harder, you're always going to find this gap, right? And so in terms of like coaching, in terms of, for me, or even like what I've seen in the best way to help people make progress is not to look at, this is how far you have left to go, this is where you need to be, like, that's very discouraging. But instead we look at the reverse and say, look, this is where you started, this is where you are now, all of a sudden you start to notice, I'm like, oh yeah, I have improved. I'm not cracking. My voice has more space. When you start thinking along this, you're going to want to do more of this. When you do more of this, you will continue to improve. If you keep looking at how much left you have, that gap will continue to go wider. And then you will never get there. And then on top of that, you want to join a competition where all they're going to do is say, here's the best standards, and you are wherever it is. Think to yourself, like, is that going to help you, or could that potentially destroy you? That's what's like, well, is it going to help you or not? And so this is why the way that I teach is always where your voice is at right now. I have no standards, because all I'm hearing is your potential, and your potential has no end. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's impossible for me to put you on a scale, because you have no end to your potential. All I listen for is, where is your voice at right now, right? And where was you? Look at how much you've improved, right? Mm-hmm. But if I can get you to recognize like the continued progress you're making and keep reinforcing that, you're actually going to continue to get better and better. Like the fact that you just told me Yeah, I noticed that my voice is less cracking. I notice I have more space. That's phenomenal. Like I've had students that come to lessons and they had like, 3 years with another coach and they're still cracking all over the place. Do you know what I mean? Because they're focusing on all the wrong things. So the fact that you actually can say that and be like, oh yeah, I have improved there. You kind of said that in passing. And my job is to be like, my goodness, don't discount that. That's what you need to keep doing. So that's because that's the clues, right? That's your clues that you're in the right direction. And so what I want to do here, if that's okay, I want to continue to reinforce what has been working well on your voice. But let's focus on that. Okay, because the fact that you're practicing, I love that you're practicing, by the way, because you're telling me I listen to myself and I don't like it. But I hear, yay, she's practicing. Like at least that's a good thing. That's a good thing, right? But if I can help you to practice in a way that's a little bit more effective, right? So that you're actually starting to see the progress, that's when you're going to make bigger changes in your voice. That's what has always been the case for me. So at this point in the lesson, we worked on some vocal alignment exercises and I taught her how to do that. We only spent maybe 10 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes kind of going through it. And my goal with the exercises was just to get her to experience greater freedom and flexibility in the way that she was using her voice. And so I'm very intentional when I work with students, and I teach my students the same way, to focus on what is working well. What sounds and feels right in your voice, and then enhancing that and continuing to do that, as opposed to focusing on all the things that are, they don't like, right? Instead of just over focusing or analyzing or trying to fix every single problem, we're looking at it from the perspective of, okay, this feels right, this feels easy, and then reinforcing what is working. And so that's what we did in this little section here. So keep watching the video and to see how we recapped and summarized the session. You can hear that you're not pulling as much anymore. Can you hear that? Mm-hmm. Can you feel that? Do you remember before you used to go, mama, like you used to put all your effort here?
Yeah.
You're not doing that anymore. Mm-hmm. That's good. You have to keep here. Okay, let me tell you an example. If I say, you're breathy, if I say that, you're gonna think, I need to correct that. I need to correct my breathiness. So what is that gonna do to you? You're gonna engage here, right? So that's gonna make it worse. And then I'm gonna say, you're straining. Then you're gonna wanna correct it. Okay, I won't strain. And then you go light again. And oh, you're too light. Oh, okay, I go hard. You know what I mean? You're gonna go back and forth like that all the time. So this is, again, one example of why you have to recognize what is going well so that you can do more of it. Sometimes it's as easy as that. In singing, we just have to do more of what is working. Okay, so let's do it again. So stay here. So if you are somebody who's been working on their voice for some time, or you have been singing for a while, or just getting started and you're feeling a little discouraged, you don't really like the sound of your own voice, you feel like you haven't found your own sound, maybe you're questioning whether you have enough talent, I want you to know that it's not about how much talent you have, it's your approach. And your approach has a lot to do with what you're focusing on. If you are not seeing the results that you were looking for, and you are practicing, you're putting in your practice time, then it's because you are probably, most likely, focusing on the wrong thing. Just like you saw in this lesson today, my student was focusing on her flaws and focusing on all of these negative aspects about her voice, and she wanted to join a singing contest because she wanted to have that validation. She wanted somebody to be able to tell her, yes, you are good enough. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you're watching this video, you have a desire to sing, you are good enough. You can learn how to sing. You just need to know what to focus on. What you've seen here is just one lesson. We go through this every single week with the students in my program. I literally have a library of like hundreds of hours of coaching sessions that you can watch, and to see how these tiny little shifts in approach, just one small change in a person's focus, can completely transform the way that they sing. So if this is something that you're interested in checking out and you want to be part of this community and have access to all of my huge library of coaching sessions where we go through these mindset shifts, go to alignyourvoice.com and set up a call with us to see if the Singers Connect program is the right fit for you. I hope you like this video, and I hope to hear your voice inside of our community soon. Take care.